Today we are diving into some of the critical advancements in our community safety mechanisms, including the implementation of the Marks radio system and the substantial renovations of our county jail. I'm proud to be joined today by Commissioner Bill Smith, who's helped play a pivotal role in these projects.
I'm Major C.J. Stantz. Serving as a deputy includes a variety of duties. The job is challenging, always changing, and truly rewarding.
I am Terry Curry, Communications Supervisor. Our dispatchers are the calming voice on the other end of the line during someone's worst moment. We are always there.
I'm Lieutenant Jeff Beck. Being a corrections officer isn't easy. The job is tough and it tests you every day. Every officer that works in our jail is making a difference.
I'm Sheriff George Meyer. Learn more on how you can join our team today and be the difference. Today, we're talking about some great projects that have made Stark County a safer place to work, play, and visit, and the collaboration approach it took to make all this happen. Well, welcome, Commissioner Smith. Thanks for being with us today.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
We're excited to have you to talk a little bit about some of these projects we're working on. Sometimes some of our viewers don't always understand how things work in their county government, and so today's an opportunity for us to explain to them how things work. And so I want to start off by asking you to tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, how you got to be in this seat as our county commissioner. We're glad you're there too, by the way.
Well, thank you, but never aspired to do any of this in the political world, but so I've basically been in Stark County all my life, born and raised, and so is my wife. We've got my wife Diane. We've been married 49 years this November. And we have 2 children and 12 grandchildren. Wow. So as things went along, I've been in business since I graduated high school, and we have the Waco Market and another property management company. But as we went along, we got involved our township, Canton Township. I got involved. Things seemed to really be cohesive there, and so actually I was able to get elected with Chris Nichols, who's our budget director in the county now too. But anyway, we got in there and started, got things squared away, and it's about helping people, I think, and so it came across one day that there could be an opportunity to move to the county after 15 years, and I knew I'd pretty well done what I was going to do at the township, and it was time to move on. It was time to not move up, just move on and let the next group come in. And this opportunity came along, and it was a clear ride, and I took it. We went in there, and we were fortunate in 16 for the start of 17 to become a commissioner, and I've really enjoyed it. It's a big county, but it's just more or less about helping people, I think. And
well, I love that, helping people. I think that's the mantra we have to stick with when we're making decisions. And I think part of it, I always tell folks that we're unique in Stark County and that we put people first. And I don't know that happens everywhere, quite frankly. And I think that with the help of the Commissioner's Office and good folks around the county, we're able to do those things that you mentioned, is keep people first, and that's really what people elect us to do. Well, you and I have had the privilege to work on a number of projects, and I want to talk a little bit today about the Stark Marks project. That's our interoperable countywide emergency radio system. And when you and I first started working on this, I think you were in your first term.
Yes.
And I really applaud you for just digging in and getting to know everything you can about the system and about the community and how it would impact the community. And so with that being said, you and I went on the tour, so to speak. We went on the circuit, and we went around to our sub-communities all around the county to talk to folks about Stark Marks. And Stark Marks is really a fancy name for an interoperable emergency radio system in our county, which quite frankly, prior to that, people, when we talk about emergency services, we could not communicate with each other. So let's talk a little bit about that experience for you.
Well, you dig into it, and if I recall the numbers correctly, we had 52 radio systems in the county, and none of them could talk to each other. And when you started thinking about that, look at what we have. We have the enshrinement. the Hall of Fame enshrinement every year, and we are a national stage. And yet, your deputies couldn't talk to the State Highway Patrol or the EMTs within the same area. And that's scary when you have that many thousands and hundreds of thousands of people through that week coming through. And is that the best way to protect them? Let alone our own incidences here when you have situations and you have mutual aiding. And as a trustee, I was involved. We didn't have a police department. We had the sheriff department. It was our police enforcement. But our fire department, we were always mutual aiding, and to someone or they were to us. And you get out there on a fire scene and you couldn't talk to each other. So it really was imperative. And I applaud you, because all you really had to be responsible is to get radios for your deputies. But you reached out across this county, and I've said this to countless people, you've included the fire departments, you've included the schools, you included everyone that wanted to get involved in this. And it has been a phenomenal success. And I go to different areas and different meetings or different fundraisers, or just even out to the car show. And you'll invariably see a fireman, a fire chief, or anyone, even policemen, come up and say, oh my gosh, to this day, they talk about these radios, how they can talk to each other and they can communicate instantly. That saves lives.
It was not without some challenge, and I think you shared my vision when we tried to launch this, and for me, the collaboration with the other agencies was absolutely the way to go. I think there had been several attempts in previous radio systems in the county, and we just never hit the mark. We had some things that helped us, but we could really just never get to where we were having interoperable communications with everybody in our county. You talk about the 52, 53 agencies throughout the county. Today, those agencies are able to communicate real time, just like you and I are talking today. And so, big game changer when it comes to public safety in our county. And I can recall going to some of those meetings with you, and quite frankly, there were some naysayers out there. And it was a job for us to try to sell this project, and with your help, we were able to do that. With the support of the commissioners, we were able to build it. That was about $13 million at the time that we spent of county dollars to stand this system up so that we can communicate. As a result of that, we partnered with the state system, which was already a robust system. And while now our folks can talk all over the county, they can also talk to other counties if they need to. And we know, we recognize through recent incidents in Ohio, this spring, Bell Fountain had a tornado. We had to send deputies over there to help them. They were in a tough time, and we sent people to help them. And when we did, those deputies could talk to us right back here at the sheriff's office. So we were confident that we built the right system, and I think all of the users have had an opportunity to use it for a number of years based on the investment from the county. They used it for 4 years without having to pay one dime out of their pockets. That helped them be able to buy those radios and have them in place. So it was, overall, I think it was a great project. I don't know if you remember this, but one of the things that we were able to do was we were able to facilitate about $800,000 in grants for our fire services around the county. And I think at the time, the fire marshal from the state of Ohio told us that that's the largest amount of grants any one county had received. So that's just really a testament of what working together really can accomplish in a community. So kind of get to the collaboration about it. We not everybody was 100% on it, but we were able to convince them that this was the right way to go.
And this started, I believe that this was so big and encompassed so many people that it really proved that Stark County works together well. And there has been so many other things spin off. It wasn't radios, isn't law enforcement or anything, but other things, different studies, different things that we've done in the county, because now we've made people believers within our county that says, wow, we can work together, and it is snowballed. So that was the first to really get rolling, make things roll. And you couldn't have predicted that, but it was but I also remember you coming to us it had worked so well, we had to beef up the towers,
Right,
even
right.
for more calls, and that was a good thing. We were pleased to be able to do that because it meant everyone. And I do remember the state at that meeting that kind of culminated everything at the end said that we were the model for the
Yeah.
state of Ohio because of the way, again, that you pursued it and got into the schools. That was amazing.
Right.
That they can hit a button and that's all they have to do.
So
We
interesting
know
piece
what they
is,
need.
you know, not only do we have the 25 police departments, 28 fire departments, we also have regional transit authorities part of this, our health department is part of this, and most importantly, we have Stark Marks radios in all our schools for emergency broadcasting if there's an incident in our school. So the enhanced safety related to this project is really immeasurable when you think about the number of people we touch as a result of the system.
And some of the superintendents have mentioned, and I heard this in the last few months, they have now started instituting these radios in their buses, especially the ones that go way out. They could never get radios before. They couldn't even get cell phones to work. These radios work, and so the safety of the children are there. If the bus gets a flat, if something happens, it shuts down, whatever, anything, they've got that radio system, that comfort level that they can call in and get help right away.
Well, I think it's important to let our listeners know that how appreciative I am, and I know our entire community are, of the support from the commissioners for this project. This was a big project. It really was. And when you think the money invested in this project, while we certainly got some return from that, I think the return is immeasurable when you talk about the safety of the folks in Stark
Correct.
County. So,
We were happy to do it.
absolutely. Bill, I want to switch gears a little bit with you, and we'll talk a little bit about a program that the commissioners signed off on and authorized for the Stark County Sheriff's Office, and that's our violence intervention grant. We were able to get a $2 million grant from the state of Ohio to help reduce violence in Stark County. And so we hear of one shooting in a neighborhood, something going on in one of our metropolitan areas, we all get a little excited because we know that violence can be very prevalent in any community today. Nobody's immune from violence in their community. And so we've put those dollars to work. We have 5 partners. We have Jackson Township, Perry Township, we have the City of Alliance, the City of Massillon, and the City of Canton, along with the Stark County Sheriff's Office, that are all partnering to utilize this grant, not only boots on the ground, which is an important piece, but certainly utilizing technology within our communities to identify crimes not after they happen, but maybe while they're happening. And so that's a really important piece that we want to talk about. And the collaboration of that is very similar to the collaboration with the radios. We working together. We're doing it for the people, and I think that's important.
Absolutely. I mean, and there again, after we did the radios, it proved the collaboration works, and it works well. And this is just another segment of that. And you don't have to come pulling them to the table anymore. They come to the table quickly to sit down.
I think we built that foundation of trust.
And that trust.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I'd like to pause for a moment and tell you about our free Sheriff's mobile app. Cybersecurity safety measures, notifications, Sheriff's Office event listings, and more. Join the more than 103,000 people who have downloaded our free app by searching Stark Sheriff Ohio in your mobile app store. Hello, Stark County. Sheriff George Meyer here. In today's fast-paced world, staying connected and informed is more important than ever. That's why we're excited to tell you about a tool that brings the Stark County Sheriff's Office to your fingertips. With our free app, you can receive instant alerts, access important updates, and find community resources. Whether it's checking on jail information, staying informed about local emergencies, or just keeping up with our community events, our app keeps you informed. So take a moment to visit your app store and search for Stark County Sheriff Ohio. Downloading is quick and easy and free. By staying connected, we're working together to keep Stark County safe. Download the app today. Well, welcome back. We're talking a little bit about the Stark County Violence Crime Task Force. And just a reminder to our viewers and how we came about, the $2 million grant through our state of Ohio. It's part of the American Rescue Plan money, and so we're able to put those dollars to good use, making our communities, our neighborhoods, our parks, our playgrounds safer right here in Stark County. And so we're working, a shout out to our partners with the Alliance Police Department, Perry Township, Jackson Township, Massillon Police Department, Canton Police Department, and certainly the Stark County Sheriff's Office. So moving on, I think it's important for our listeners today to understand the work that's going on right now behind the scenes to renovate our Stark County Jail. In fairness to this conversation, our Stark County Jail, the majority of it was constructed in the early 1960s. Quite frankly, it gets a lot of heavy use. And so that being said, we're taking a look at how we can improve not only the efficiency but the effectiveness of our jail, but certainly turn around some of that deteriorating jail into a more efficient and reliable structure. So I want to talk a little bit about how we got to this point.
Well, I think when I first got on board here almost 8 years ago, you would come in and say, our windows are terrible, or the next year this would happen, that would happen, and we'd have to kind of kick that can down the road a little bit monetarily. But it got to the point where it seemed like there was a general theme, and so we started digging deeper and found out you could put good money after bad and still have an old building. And it's not the entire facilities, it's where the housing is, the jail portion, correct?
Sure.
So there's a lot of it that will be kept or renovated and brought up to standards, but it just got to the point it started making more sense. So we had been squirreling away money for you the whole time, thinking we know we're going to have some sort of an expense, right. And what and where and how that looked, we weren't sure until here this last year. We went ahead and hired an architect and a project manager to start really digging in deep with that. And as they did, I know the pictures and the tours I've had, it's bad. It's not fixable. So from a building standpoint, it's not fixable. And I think from the way you've described it, the management point of managing
Sure.
the folks that are in there, that we can do a lot better.
Sure.
And need to do a lot
Well, I think, the why is pretty apparent. As you mentioned, year after year, I was happy to come before the Board of Commissioners, and tell you that I needed more money for plumbing repairs. I needed money for electrical repairs. And I think the commissioners, you and our other two commissioners, certainly started to see the trend of, hey, this building is really starting to deteriorate. And so we are now in the design stage of a facility. Some of it will be a new facility. Some of it, as you mentioned, will be renovating some of what we already have. It'll change the footprint a little bit out there. But that being said, if you think about it, last year our jail staff and our medical staff, they had to detox over 3,200 inmates that came through our jail system. And so today, it's a known fact that we are probably the largest medical or mental health or recovery facility in the county. And so we have to get better at this. And I tell people this all the time. And so when we design this jail in this design stage, it's important for viewers to know we're not building extra beds. We're not adding beds. We're not adding wings. We're actually going to supplement beds that are going to be gone with more efficient beds that will be designed for treatment and certainly for recovery for folks that are coming through our facility. And I think it's important to talk to our viewers about why that's important.
Well, it's so that if we can take care of some of these issues and everything, this isn't the 60s anymore. So the folks that you're incarcerating are they're different. It's like you said, the medical, the drugs, the mental issues, and if we can help that situation along, potentially the goal would be we don't see them coming back as often or at all, and that's part of our obligation, I think, to them and to the community, more so that if we can help change some folks to the better, you know, and they don't come back as much, that's where we need to be. And
Well, you
so-
think about the economic cost of that. There's some economics
No.
involved, but I think there's another piece to that is, you know, we're living in a world today where it's hard to find labor. If we can get these folks productive in our communities, cleaned up from drugs, they can contribute to that labor force that we need so dearly out there. And so I think there's a couple sides to this, and you know, we can do a better job. And I think the way we're looking at this, the focus is really to getting people back and productive in our community. So hopefully, there'll always be career criminals. We know that. There'll always be career criminals, but we need to change this trend of folks coming in due to you know, an addiction or a mental health issue. You know,
and the way that's designing is that the staff will be able to engage better, and it is harder to get employees of all levels.
Sure.
And so that'll help that situation potentially a little bit too.
That's a great point. Not only will they be able to engage better, it will be a safer environment
Yes.
for not only them, but certainly the folks that are incarcerated. You know, one of the things that is important to note in this conversation is that the national average of addiction is about 5%. The average in a county jail is about 20%. And so we're seeing, you know, the worst in our community who have addiction-related issues come through our doors. And so we have to be better suited to be able to manage that. And when I say better suited, that releases the county of a great deal of liability when we do this the right way. And so I know that's important to the commissioners as well, that we're addressing this in the right way. Some of the things that we're going to be talking about in our jail, and I know you're aware of this, is the kitchen. Our original kitchen was designed for about 240 inmates, and we house about 526. And so just think about this in your own household. If the kitchen's too small, it makes it difficult to prepare those meals for the number of people that you need to prepare them for. So that's one of the things that will not be new, but will be renovated. And so I think that's important to point out. There'll be a housing area that's new, but again, won't be additional beds. I think that's important to point out. You know, the renovation project prioritizes safety in our facility and certainly improves, and not only improves, but keeps us on the right track of maintaining the health and welfare of the folks that are there during the time of their incarceration. None of these projects, Bill, would be possible without the support of our commissioners. And I think it goes back to what we said at the start of our segment. It's really about the people. We're not segregating people in our community. The commissioner's offices operate and the sheriff's office operate for everyone in our community. We don't care who it is. And so if we have people that are there because they have an addiction issue and we can help them get a leg up and get out of there and be part of our labor force in the community, then that alone is the right thing to do. So I know you've been doing a couple meetings that we've been working on with the design stage. Where do you see us being next with this project?
Well, as it processes through, and you know, we've got some prints up on our table up there that we've been going through, and you just have to keep. You have to. I just did an expansion at our store here a few years ago, so now you can go through there and you have to look like you're walking through it and to make sure that everything is right. And one of the things we're going to renovate the kitchen, but I think the architect came in with a whole new kitchen.
They did.
And a whole new area at a very big price. And to your credit again, and that's what we appreciate as commissioners, that you were first to say that doesn't have to be. We can still accomplish our goals, enlarge that by taking this space out, removing that, moving this. And so it's a really good working relationship, I believe, between yourself and the commissioners, because we trust you that you're not going to be willy-nilly with those dollars, and we haven't been. And again, we really, truly, our truest goal is, and we are going to try to get a little bit of state money help. We had our representatives in the other day. Why shouldn't we? Sure. We want to get some of that tax dollars that Stark County has given to them back if we can. But in the end of the day, our goal and our mission is that we will not ask for any of this money, that we have put enough away or we are able to acquire enough that we can get this done without, and it's going to be probably the largest financial project this county's ever seen. But we have really worked hard, and the ARPA money did help a little bit. We designated a piece of that over. So, but again, you know, by having practical sense, by keeping your eye on what I believe was elected for, and I believe you have the same philosophy, and that is the people of the county. And I mean, it might sound a little cliche, but there hasn't been any politics in this, and that's, I'm the worst political commissioner you'll ever see, because I'm not. I don't believe in that stuff at this level, and I think it's you know, do what you're supposed to do to make everyone's life a little bit easier. We're all in here for a short period of time, so.
I echo your sentiment. You have to push the egos and the politics aside, get the work done. And somebody told me a long time ago, when I've been in public service for many, many years, somebody told me that you treat it like it's your own. And if you're treating it like your own, you're not going to let yourself get ripped off, right? You're going to make sure that those tax dollars are being used properly. And I think that we have a great team working on this project. While we don't have the exact number yet, I like the idea that, you know, we're telling the community and we're holding true to our word. There'll be no new taxes over this, and I know Commissioner Creighton likes to tell everybody that, and I echo her sentiment. There will be no new taxes. But you know, the other thing about this is people elected us to do a job, and I applaud the commissioners again. They have not shied away from this responsibility, even though it's daunting at times. You guys have put a great team on this, as well as our internal team, so we appreciate that.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you again for our guest today, Stark County Commissioner Bill Smith, and I'm your Stark County Sheriff George Meyer. And remember, we're always together, working together to keep Stark County safe and save taxpayers' dollars. Hello, Stark County. Sheriff George Meyer here. In today's fast-paced world, staying connected and informed is more important than ever. That's why we're excited to tell you about a tool that brings the Stark County Sheriff's Office to your fingertips. With our free app, you can receive instant alerts, access important updates, and find community resources. Whether it's checking on jail information, staying informed about local emergencies, or just keeping up with our community events, our app keeps you informed. So take a moment to visit your app store and search for Stark County Sheriff Ohio. Downloading is quick and easy and free. By staying connected, we're working together to keep Stark County safe. Download the app today.